How well do you know the United States? From landmarks to laws, this quiz will put your knowledge to the test. The questions get harder as you go. If you are ready, let's get started! What is the capital of the United States? Washington, D.C. How many states are in the United States? Who was the first president of the United States? George Washington. Which document begins with "We the People"? U.S. Constitution. Which ocean borders the east coast of the United States? Atlantic Ocean. Which state is known as the Sunshine State? Florida. What is the national bird of the United States? Bald eagle. Which holiday celebrates U.S. independence? Independence Day. In what year was the Declaration of Independence adopted? (1776). Which monument features the faces of 4 U.S. presidents? Mount Rushmore. What is the largest U.S. state by area? Alaska. Which city is nicknamed the Big Apple? New York City. How many branches does the U.S. federal government have? Which branch of government makes federal laws? Legislative. Who wrote most of the Declaration of Independence? Thomas Jefferson. Which amendment protects freedom of speech? First Amendment. What is the official residence of the U.S. President? White House. Which national park was the first established in the world? Yellowstone. Which mountain range runs through the eastern United States? Appalachian Mountains. Which state is called the Lone Star State? Texas. What is the tallest mountain in North America? Denali. Which Great Lake is the largest by surface area? Lake Superior. Which president issued the Emancipation Proclamation? Abraham Lincoln. Which cracked bell is an iconic American symbol? Liberty Bell. Which agency landed astronauts on the moon? NASA. Which U.S. state is made up entirely of islands? Hawaii. Which historic highway is called the Mother Road? Route 66. Which war was fought between the North and South? Civil War. What is the capital of California? Sacramento. Which president appears on the $1 bill? George Washington. Which coin features Thomas Jefferson? Nickel. Who is credited with developing the practical electric light bulb? Thomas Edison. Which company produced the Model T? Ford. Which sport is known as America's pastime? Baseball. Which state was the first to ratify the U.S. Constitution? Delaware. Which famous waterfall lies on the U.S.-Canada border? Niagara Falls. Which amendment gave women the right to vote nationwide? ~ 19th Amendment. What is the highest court in the United States? Supreme Court. Which city is home to the Golden Gate Bridge? San Francisco. Which desert covers much of southern Arizona? Sonoran Desert. Which state is home to the Grand Canyon? Arizona. Which president served 4 elected terms? Franklin D. Roosevelt. Who delivered the famous "I Have a Dream" speech? Martin Luther King Jr. What is the national anthem of the United States? Star-Spangled Banner. Which state is nicknamed the Empire State? New York. Which holiday is celebrated on the 4th Thursday of November? Thanksgiving. Which country gave the Statue of Liberty to the United States? France. Which U.S. state is famous for producing potatoes? Idaho. Which famous U.S. prison was located on an island in San Francisco Bay? Alcatraz. Which state is known as the Aloha State? Hawaii. Thanks for playing along. Did you have fun? Don't forget, let us know how well you did in the comments. See you in the next quiz!